Hello, and welcome. Welcome to Weight Watcher, or Watch Your Weight, should I say, which is about being mindful of your weight, your shape, your size, your health, what you're putting into your body, how it's affecting you, and lots of other things in terms of just looking after yourself. Well, on today's show, we've got someone special. We've got a dietitian who's also a plant-based specialist, and she's going to come in and join us today to talk about people or things that help you to manage your fertility better. So if you're struggling to get pregnant, if you're finding that nothing seems to be working, then this might be a great show to tune into now or later to help you to figure out if there's anything that you're putting in there that could, work better than what you're using right now, and some of the myths around there that can help to dispel, to help you understand nutrition a little bit, because it can be a little bit complex, a little bit confusing. So that's the kind of the theme of today's show is looking at weight, nutrition, and what we're putting into our body that's affecting perhaps other things going on, the circuitry that's stopping you from becoming pregnant. So I'll bring my specialist in today, and so if we can just bring hello.
Hi, Karen.
On us today. Hey. So how are you doing there today?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. It's quite early in the morning here for me.
I'm playing around here. I'm trying to get the big screen on. Where's that gone? There we go.
Oh, there we are.
There are so many buttons and things to press on this bit of kit, but that looks good. Yes, early in the morning, and it's you're in the UK, Lisa. That's correct.
Yes. Yeah.
Whereabouts in the UK are you?
I'm in Cardiff, in Wales.
Stunning. Can you hear it now in the accent? I couldn't hear it before. I thought, yeah, I can hear that accent. So yes, like I said, today we're talking about infertility or fertility, which way we're going to look at it, and affecting a lot of people, including men as well as women, which again, I suppose it's going to be one of the myths that you might be talking about today. But yeah, unexplained infertility. So not the infertility, or do you work with both, explained and unexplained? Yeah.
Yeah, it's unexplained infertility, but no structural defects.
Yeah. Okay, great. So let's kick off by just talking a little about, maybe just share a couple of the myths that you, because I know you work a lot with people with chronic conditions in one way or another. Are there any particular myths that you find that keep coming through from your people who have infertility that might be just buying into the idea of a certain thing does this, or I shouldn't be doing that, or that from an evidence-based perspective, you don't think that is, correct?
Yeah, there are a couple of ones that stand out that are quite frequent on social media, unfortunately, and one of them is that a low carbohydrate diet is beneficial for fertility, but actually that's the worst thing you can do, because carbohydrates are really important and they shouldn't all be lumped in the same category. So if you're having a diet high in refined carbohydrates, so a lot of white pasta and rice and bread, then especially if you have polycystic ovarian syndrome, you can cause your blood glucose levels to be all over the place. And that's not great for your weight and other health conditions as well. But if you have a diet rich in whole grains, or predominantly whole grains, because you can have some refined carbohydrates, I'm not going to demonize them, but if you have mainly brown rice and whole wheat pasta and wholemeal bread, then that's a really important source of fiber. And fiber is really important for hormone health and also your your gut microbiome, which are all the healthy bacteria, or all the bacteria in your gut, which feed on the fiber that you eat. So if you're depriving your body of carbohydrates, then you're not getting the fiber that you need. You're not going to help balance your hormones, especially important in hormone-driven conditions which can impact fertility, such as PCOS and endometriosis. And of course, if you're taking out all the carbohydrates in your diet or reducing them right down, what are you replacing them with? And most of these diets will then mean increasing your animal proteins, which have been shown to be really damaging to fertility. And there are lots of, and there's a big study, that the Nurses' Health Study 2, and at the moment the Nurses' Health Study 3 is ongoing. We don't have the data from that, but they're looking specifically at fertility, which will be really interesting. But in the Nurses' Health Study 2, they found that women with higher animal protein intakes had reduced rates of infertility, and that by replacing 25 grams of animal protein with plant protein, the rate was reduced by 50%. So the risk was reduced by 50%. So yeah, and there are so many harmful components in animal proteins. You've got heme iron, which is a pro-oxidant, which means that it can damage your cells and your DNA. So that includes the DNA in your sperm, and also the cells in the eggs and the sperm as well. So having higher intakes of non-heme iron from plant foods is associated with a reduced risk of ovulatory infertility as well.
Stunning. Lots of information, folk, we know, but and it may be a little bit technical, and that's okay, because sometimes it's hard to explain all that in a nutshell when it is quite a complicated topic to understand. But Lisa is on hand. If you need any information after the show, I'll put you can see, you can contact her through this link, which is, by the way, a course that Lisa runs for people who have infertility and want to know more about how you can use a plant-based diet to manage that. So the thing about infertility as well, and you'll know, Lisa, because you've been through this, in terms of having your own infertility therapy and treatment to get pregnant, is it can be very stressful too, can't it? It can be an incredibly difficult time. And I know from my perspective, working as a health psychology specialist in behavioral and psychological perspective of working with it, is that people go through many ups and downs. It's like a roller coaster of a journey, and it can cause a lot of emotional upheaval for people. So is there any tips on for people who where the hormones are all over the place, where the adrenaline's kind of rushing through their body, etc., and affecting all areas, all systems of the body? Are there any particular specific methods of using nutrition and diet that they can do to kind of offset those stress levels, to manage that stress?
I think in terms of diet, just making sure that you're having a balanced diet every day, trying to steer away from processed foods when you can, because they're full of saturated fats and added sugars and salt and things that aren't so great for you and not good for your gut microbiome. And it's really important to optimize your gut, because it's so connected with your brain. So if you have a poor gut environment, your brain isn't going to be functioning efficiently either, and you're not going to be able to manage stress and emotion so easily. But getting plenty of fruit and vegetables, as many different coloured ones as you can, including enough healthy fats, because fats are often demonized, and again, they're really important for fertility and hormone balance. So having avocados and olive oil, extra virgin olive oil if you can, nuts and seeds, tahini, all the good unsaturated sources of fat in the diet. I know, same. But also, when I was going through treatment, and that's when I stumbled across plant-based nutrition, when I was having IVF treatment to have my son, who's now 3. My hormones, you're getting pumped full of these hormones. You're injecting yourself every day, which isn't pleasant in itself. Your hormones are fluctuating all over the place. You can't sleep because you're getting hot flushes. It's like you're going through the menopause. Your relationship can suffer because you become inexplicably angry one moment, and then you're another emotion another. So stress management techniques are also really important, and that's what we go through on the program, the 6-week program. But trying breathing techniques and guided meditation, because I can't do meditation without it being guided, because my mind is all over the place. I need someone to be talking to me and telling me what to do.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
And positive visualization as well is really important, and that's what I did throughout my treatment. And my husband would have a different opinion, because he thought it was creating false hope for myself. But I was determined that every day I was going to picture the whole treatment process. I was going to picture my ovaries growing, the follicles developing, the eggs being, harvested, the embryo transfer, and then I could picture my baby, and I was picturing my baby. I was picturing changing it and doing all of these things. Right. And for me, that helped create a lot of positivity, and it made me less stressed and less focused on the negatives. And I think that's really important.
They're very powerful tools. We use them in hypnosis all the time in terms of future pacing, future progression, and imagine ourselves in the future with what we desire. They sound a little bit airy-fairy and a little bit kind of out there, but they are such powerful tools in helping us, like you say, to stay focused, stay positive, and imagining everything functioning as it should do, is functioning well. It really does work, folks, if you ever want to try it.
It does. I'm a big believer in that.
Yes, absolutely. Yes, for sure. So back to the kind of people are now they're less stressed because they've obviously tried a lot of what we've just said. They're managing their sleep well. They're not having the hot flushes. They're feeling good. A lot of women, particularly women, I would say, because that's the side that I see lose the babies, or they don't have a very good pregnancy because of nutrition, and not necessarily nutrition, sorry, but unexplained. They just don't understand why they just can't go full term, or they can't carry a baby at any length. Other things that you help with in terms of helping people once they have got that to that stage of pregnancy to continue that, because it's important, isn't it? Like we were saying earlier, that whatever you're eating, you're passing through to the fetus, to the baby, and they're going to be as healthy as they can be when they come through that. What kind of tips have you got for that in terms of during pregnancy to kind of maintain that pregnancy to full term?
Well, I think, unfortunately, we don't know what causes the majority of miscarriages, and they just occur normally within the first 12 weeks. So that's why it's really important to optimize your nutrition prior to becoming pregnant, because if you have optimum sperm and eggs, then you can help increase your chances of carrying the baby to full term. And I always say try and start optimizing your diet and your lifestyle, because it is a puzzle. There's lots of pieces that combine, at least 3 months before you try to conceive, because it takes about 3 months for the egg to develop and for the sperm to develop. And men produce more sperm all the time. Women are born with all the eggs they'll ever have. But it's really important, and that's why I'm really, really passionate about getting men involved in the conversation, because fertility now affects 50 in couples. It's caused 50% of it is caused by male factor infertility, and it's equal. So there are so many nutrients that can optimize the sperm as well as the egg. And for men the sperm is very easily damaged once it's formed as well, so it needs protecting. And the best thing that men can do to protect the sperm is to eat plenty of antioxidant containing foods. So lycopene, which is found in predominantly red fruit and vegetables, is really important. So lots of cooked tomatoes, because there's more lycopene when it's cooked. So lots of cooked tomatoes, or tinned tomatoes, because obviously they're already cooked. Red peppers, and then the orange fruit and veg, so butternut squash, carrots, sweet potatoes, mangoes, cantaloupe melons, as many different colourful things as you can, because they're the fruits that contain high amounts of these antioxidants. And also, again, the whole grains. Seeds are really important for men, because men need zinc, and a lot of zinc, much higher than women, because they lose zinc in each ejaculate. So obviously, if you're trying for a baby, you're potentially going to lose a lot of zinc. So handful of seeds, sprinkle them on your porridge in the morning, have them on your avocado, trying to get them into your diet where you can.
Yeah, so that's a good tip. So maybe by the time it'd be preventative is what we're saying, that thinking about, I want to be pregnant in 3 months, or 6 months or 9 months, 12 months, whatever, is to think ahead of the time. And that's not always easy to do, is it? Because sometimes you get caught out and you're just there before you know it. But to start, basically what you're saying, start as soon as you can and give yourself the best chance of success, basically, to have a healthy pregnancy, healthy baby, healthy pregnancy.
Yeah, and get that folic acid in as well. Folic acid supplements are so important, and iodine as well, making sure that you're having sufficient iodine, because for plant-based vegan women, they don't, they need a supplement, an iodine supplement, but it can't come from kelp, because there are a lot of kelp iodine supplements on the market, but those ones aren't great. So making sure it's not kelp derived is
there's so much to learn. There really is so much to know.
There's so much to talk about. I could talk for hours about
I know
about
you could.
infertility.
You're so passionate about it, but that's what I think people want. People want somebody who is passionate, who's evidence-based, who knows what they're talking about. And I think, like you said, there's so much stuff out there on the internet and in support groups and on forums, and you think, my goodness, it's just getting it from the horse's mouth, I suppose, in terms of, or vegan, I suppose. I don't know, what would we say? Is it a horse? I don't know. But getting it from someone who's studied it well and who understands it, I think that's so important, is to, we don't have all the answers as professionals, of course we don't, but there's some sense of, we've got sometimes a better idea than some of the stuff out there, and it's just cluing yourself up. And if you don't understand, is to have a session with yourself or someone who knows what they're talking about. Basically,
no, absolutely. It's really important.
It's so important, isn't it, Lisa? Because you're going to be carrying a baby for 9 months. It's pretty important to know that you're carrying the best healthy baby that you possibly can, and then you've got a lifetime of looking after them. So
exactly. So it's good to keep yourself fit and healthy as well, to be running around after a very energetic child all day.
Yes. And I'm sure that could be a whole new show, I'm sure, and we'll have that down the line, no doubt, is how you keep healthy and well afterwards, to keep up your energy levels, your stock levels, and to keep up your immune system, to help you to fight off all those infections that your little ones are bringing in from nursery and kindergarten.
Exactly.
Well, it's been an awesome show. We've covered a lot of information. I understand that, and sometimes I've said before, it's quite complicated. But I reckon if you just, to use pardon the pun, digest this information in your own space and time, and look up a few of the words maybe that we've talked about today, if you don't know what lycopene is, or some of the other things we've talked about, it's worth just looking it up in a dictionary or just putting it into Google and figuring out what that is. And seeing, but I think the key is what we've talked about today. I think, Lisa, is the key is preventative. Being preventative and looking for colour. We in our diets, in our vegan diets, our plant-based diets, we have a hell of a lot of colour, don't we? And it makes it interesting, makes it fun, it makes it kind of exciting that you can put all these things together, and it makes it really, really kind of interesting to eat all the different flavours going on there. It's not bland. It can be very, very interesting. So I encourage anyone out there to take on board that advice and think about adopting, even if it's not the whole way, just kind of, more, bringing more kind of plant-based foods into your diet. That's how I did it. I'm sure that's probably the way you went too, is, I didn't just suddenly become a plant-based eater. I did it over time. Gradually taking things out, putting things in, and learning on the job, really, in terms of what was good for me and what worked for my body, etc. So it's been a bit just being mindful, I suppose, isn't it, on what you're eating?
Yeah, absolutely.
So we're going to leave it there today, folks. Like I said, if you want to talk to Lisa, her email is along the bottom. She does have a course coming up. I'm not sure if she's got places on there at the moment, but it is starting very soon. But I'm sure there'll be future ones, because this will be going out for a while yet. So
I'll be running them regularly.
Yeah, there's certainly a call for it, and certainly people need to get clued up a bit more about nutrition, the importance of it. I think it is incredibly underrated in terms of what nutrition does for us. So that's all for today, folks. We'll see you again soon. Thanks, Lisa, for coming on the show. It's been really good, really informative. All the best. Have a great day or evening, morning, wherever you are. Bye for now.
Morning. Thanks, Karen.
Bye for now. Bye.
Bye.